In Mr. Kim's mansion, Mr. Kim got out of his car with baby Jungkook and started walking into the mansion. Here is the lovely Vian, the only daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Kim. They loved her very much and provided her everything which she needed in her life. From now on, she will have a lovely Oppa who is only 4 years younger than her, as Vian is 4 now. But let's see what's written in their fate. Mrs. Kim was sitting on the couch with the little princess on her lap. Mr. Kim came suddenly. Vian said loudly, "Father, you have come." She got up from her mother's lap and ran to her father. His father also took her in his arms. Now there is Jungkook on one side and Vian on the other. When Jungkook saw her for the first time, he felt a current run through his body. Jungkook smiled. Ah, this little fairy, only mine. Then someone interrupted his thoughts, and it was none other than Mr. Kim. "Mr. Kim, welcome to your home, Cookie. We are your family from now on." Jungkook, But my father, he shudders. Mr. Kim, actually, he went abroad for his appointment, so he said, "You will live with us, right? And look, from today, you have a lovely little sister." Jungkook's face goes cold. Jungkook, "Uncle, she's not my sister." Mr. Kim frowned, but shrugged off his thoughts, thinking that he was just a kid. He needed time to adjust. Mr. Kim, "Say hi to your mom." Mrs. Kim smiled warmly. Jungkook walked towards Mrs. Kim. Mrs. Kim bent down to his level and hugged him tightly. Jungkook, "Mom?" Mrs. Kim, "Yes, my love." Jungkook, Nothing, mom. Just want to call you. By the way, you're so beautiful, so don't you dare cry again," he said while wiping his tears. Everyone starts laughing. Mr. Kim, "Mia, a maid there." Mia, "Yes, sir." She said and bowed. Mr. Kim took him to his room. He must be tired. She led him to his room, and Jagya starts the celebrations. Today is his birthday. Mrs. Kim, "What? Today is my Jungkook's birthday and you are telling me now?" Mr. Kim, "I want to give him a surprise birthday party, so please try to understand now." 10th p.m. Fireworks went off and everyone chanted "Happy birthday, Jungkook." Jungkook cut the cake and all the party went well. 12 years later, a cold man was in the living room working on his laptop. His fingers were dancing on the keyboard. Expressions just like snow. No one seems to be able to melt it, but suddenly a sweet voice echoes through the room. "Oppa!" Yes, she is our Vian, who came from her school now and ran into his coldy Oppa, who never made everyone smile in his life, but his little stepsister can easily make his heart melt. Vian, "Oppa, I came home," she says and runs to him, jumps into his lap and hugs him tightly. Jungkook, "My princess came, How was your day?" he asked while stroking her hairs. Vian, "It was good, Oppa, but I'm very tired. You know, our Professor Min gives us lot of assignments," she said while pouting. Jungkook bit his bottom lip. "Don't do this, princess. It's my job," he thought. Vian, "Oppa, you okay?" She spoke with a worried expression on her face. Jungkook thought, "How much I want to ruin this innocence, just I know. God have some mercy on me." "Why, Nopa, I'm going to my room. I'm very tired." Jungkook just nodded in response. When she got up from his laps, Jungkook's forehead is covered in cold sweat and he ran to the washroom. You know for what? Their parents are not home because Vian's grandparents are not well. So the parents went there to take care and they gave the business there to Jungkook because he's already graduated. So that's why. Time skip. Vian's point of view in the bathroom. I was taking a bath after a tiring day. I got into the bathtub, which I just filled with warm water, and poured some vanilla flavored body wash because it is my Oppa's favorite. I know why he was sweating. A crimson red tint appeared on my face. I thought he loved me, but he never told me. But I love him too, but I'm scared. What if he doesn't love me and tells my parents? They will be very angry. But I want it. And just don't think about it. I walked out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around my small body, and water was dripping from my hairs. When I came out, I was shocked to see it was none other than my stepbrother. He was sitting on the bed with a magazine in his hands. He looked like a. His biceps were showing through the plain white t-shirt, his sharp jaw. I was looking down, but a voice stopped me. Jungkook, Princess Vian. Jungkook. I want you, Vian. What? Jungkook. Vian. What? Oppa. Oh, no, he said he wants me. I want him too. Jungkook's thoughts. What happened to her? She's blushing. What? Did I made her blush? Jungkook. Princess, actually, I want to. I stopped talking when I saw her in that towel. Enough, I can't control anymore. Vian point of view, he suddenly ran towards me. What the heck it is? Vian, Oppa. Jungkook. Princess, please don't push me today. Vian. But Oppa, what if mom and dad come to know about it? Jungkook. And who will tell them? He said while raising an eyebrow. Time skip the next morning. Sunlight streaming through the window. Vian got up, rubbing her eyes, and looked in front of her. Jungkook was already awake and watching her. Vian. Oppa, my inner thighs are hurting. Jungkook. He smiled and kissed her forehead. Am I being too harsh? Vian nodded fondly. Jungkook. So it's your fault. So I couldn't control myself. You hit his chest lightly. And that's how you became his obsession. He loved you from the beginning but was afraid to tell you, and finally he confessed, and you both did it many times. After 3 years, today is that day when their parents are coming from abroad. Vian was very excited. Mr. and Mrs. Kim entered the mansion. Vian runs to them happily. Mr. Kim, how are you, my princess? Vian, I'm very good, dad. You say? Mr. Kim, my dear, as always good. Mrs. Kim, daughter, we are very tired, but where is my cookie? Jungkook, I'm here, mom. He came out of nowhere and hugged them. Mrs. Kim sat kissing his forehead. Mrs. Kim, Vian will have to talk to you, but after dinner, okay? Vian nodded. They proceeded towards the room there. Jungkook doubted what they wanted to talk to her about. At the dining table, the clink of cutlery can be heard as the cute little family is completed again after 3 years. Mr. Kim, so my dear daughter, as we told you earlier, we have to talk. So, Vian, yes, dad, please say. Mr. Kim, actually, me and your mother want you to get married. Jungkook started choking on the water. You ran to him and patted his back. Vian. Are you okay, Oppa? Jungkook just shook his head. Mr. Kim hesitated at first but started to speaking again. Mr. Kim, so as I said, we want you to get married and Jungkook. It can't be happened. He sat standing up angrily. Mr. and Mrs. Kim both stood up and asked Mrs. Kim, why cook? Why are you overreacting, Jungkook? Because I don't want to marry her to anyone. Mr. and Mrs. Kim, why? How can you say that about your sister? Jungkook, because I love her and I have told you guys thousands of times that she is not my sister. I love her. Mrs. Kim sat on the chair lifeless. Mrs. Kim, what did you just say? Her voice trembled. Jungkook walked towards her and bowed to her. Jungkook took her right hand in his. Jungkook, Mom, please, you love me, don't you? Mrs. Kim shook her head vigorously. Jungkook, listen, Mom, I never saw her as my sister. I never considered her as my sister, Mom. Mom, I love her, but not as my sister, Mom. You know, every time you say she's my sister, but I get angry every time, don't you? Mrs. Kim thought for a while, and yes, he was right. He was always angry, and we thought he was just a little boy. He needed some time, but he loves her. Jungkook, Mom and Dad, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. But I can't live without her. Try to understand my situation. I love her. Mrs. Kim hugs him and rubbed his back. Mr. Kim, when you want to marry her, everyone's eyes got enlarged. Mr. Kim, what? Mr. Kim, tell me, you guys did it, didn't you? Jungkook, no, I mean, yes, Mr. Kim, he said while making faces. Why, but Dad? Mr. Kim, what but? Don't you love him too? Don't lie, please. I know you do too. Wyatt nodded, and that's it. They got married after 3 weeks. Love always hurts, but not in all situations. But still, you have to be very careful before giving your heart to someone who doesn't even know you. So please know it personally first and then do whatever you want. In the end, never loved anyone for his money. It will always be wasted, but not love.